Okay, I'm going to remember to ask if anyone can hear me to begin with. Welcome. I've got things slightly moved around, so hopefully, well, no one is okay, sounds great. All right. Wow. Okay. Thanks, Fred. It's great to see you, Fred. Bonjour, Paul. Colette, as always. Colette's been coming for all these. Yeah, happy Wednesday. So for those that don't know, my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. I often am the moderator for the Do Nothing Project. I sometimes fill in when Jeff can't make it. And we've been playing around with doing Wednesday sits. The Wednesday sits they don't have a full theme yet. They're a little more than nothing. So they're on the edge of something, I guess, or they're dangerously close to something. And then, like the Do Nothing Project and CEC, those sits always finish with a friendliness practice. And for these sits, what I was going to do is sort of offer up that I will always try to finish with a do nothing at the end. I think last time some folks had mentioned we were playing around with the noting practice, and then that nothing sometimes isn't always supportive for people. So knowing that you can always kind of put my instructions kind of in the background, and you can sort of, I think I joked at one point, and when I was guest hosting, you could sort of RSVP no for any of my guidance and prompts. A little bit of a joke around them being an invitation. I know that's a watchword for some people that do guidance. They don't like the invitation thing. So yeah. And then the maybe in the title is I wasn't entirely sure. Somebody had asked recently. I wasn't entirely sure that Wednesdays were going to work out. And when you do these things, sometimes I do guidance at work for some of my coworkers. And some days it just works out that like nobody can make it. So it's like me. Sometimes I can't make it. So I was just putting that in as kind of a little bit of a glib joke to myself. So I think that's a little bit off the top. We're still playing around with time. So I think I started this maybe. Oh, hey, welcome from tomorrow, Sybil, or at least for hope Thursday is treating you well. But the time, moving it back just a little bit helps with some of the folks that are on the Pacific time, which Arizona is in Pacific time or is equivalent to Pacific time at the moment. And that is, so that's a little bit of like someone had mentioned, like, why 15 minutes passed. And that's why 15 minutes passed. So, and then today, maybe some of you got to do this, but I sort of snuck into the coaching session with Jeff today. Jeff was doing a session for the 10% Happier app. They're expanding their coaching program, and so I got to attend that and just playing around a little bit with a very light home base is kind of what I'm going to offer up as a overarching piece. We'll sit for 25 minutes, but the 20-ish minutes, so maybe 19, will be with a little bit of that guidance, but it'll be really more approaching a do nothing sort of thing, and then we'll finish with do nothing. Or you can, I may prompt. We'll see if I remember that you can continue to use the technique if you want, or you can go ahead and drop the technique and switch to do nothing. So. Welcome, Michael. Michael, I think I saw too. Michael just had subscribed recently, and a big welcome to Gabrielle. For some folks, I did afternoon live streams, like, gosh, maybe it was pandemic, like end of the pandemic and then beginning of 2021. And so Gabrielle and others had from that era were regulars. I always appreciated that. And then for all the folks that will chime in and let me know that they sat but didn't, but are abstaining from chat. I hear you. So, all right, I've got a fancy bell. Thanks to Jeff Groves, who told me that your phone makes that GSM noise. So I've got that off, and I am like ending my workday, and I am just all sorts of frazzled. So I may play around a little bit with, got like my whole setup is kind of off. So we'll play around a little bit with some settling in, and then that prompt around sort of a light home base. And I wish I could remember now. Jeff had said something today that was amazing to me about the framing around home bases. So maybe my meditation brain that I switch into when I do guidance will remember that, but I currently don't remember. So yeah. So welcome to Michael. I think let me just see if I can see the participant list. So okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead, and if you haven't already, kind of begin the process of finding a place for you to settle in, something that will help you to support being both relaxed and alert. That's our basic meditative state. We got 25 minutes on the clock. I'll ring my fancy bell and we'll start. Yeah, that frazzled state. I know a little too well at times, but all right. But yeah, post work, post school volunteering, that's a well earned frazzle state. So we begin by taking our seat. And that could be sitting in a chair, which is sort of an equally effective way to support the posture. It could be sitting on a couch if you want. If you feel like you can get some pillows around you and are supported. It could be sitting on a cushion. It could be standing too. That is an option, one that you don't see a whole lot of in the mindfulness world, but you do see in Taoism. It's a standing meditation. Then just seeing if you can get a stable base. So if you're in a chair, that might mean feet flat on the floor. That helps you to just not have any pressure points. Arrange the hands in a way that'll help you be still. So that could be just kind of loosely in the lap or palms down on the thighs. And we're allowing ourselves to kind of settle in or be heavy. So from the waist down, we're heavy. And from the waist up, we're light. And maybe even a little bit buoyant. The shoulders are down and back. The spine is upright, but not uptight. So we're just trying to allow the spine to be upright, but not necessarily efforting to keep it there. And then just checking in to see kind of if there's any tension. You'll know where you hold tension better than I will, but areas that you might find that is in the shoulders, maybe the neck or the jaw, around the eyes. And sometimes just bringing our attention to that area will cause the tension to relax or release. And if it doesn't, it's our first opportunity to bring a no big deal attitude and just let the tension be there. And then finally, leaning on the wisdom of the Beastie Boys, allowing our busy mind to calm down a bit. We're going for a few deliberate breaths, and the tempo that we're looking for is slow and low, just like the Beastie Boys song. Breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe low into the belly. Breathing out through the nose allows us to extend the exhale. And then letting go of that and allowing the breath to be natural. So So just marking this spot here, this is kind of the waypoint that you can always come back to. And we're not going to stray too far from this waypoint. So we're sitting and knowing that we're sitting. That's the waypoint I'm talking about. Just the sense that you're here and sitting, or the sense that you're sort of in the posture that we set up. So heaviness from the waist down, lightness from the waist up. Just enough awareness to be right here. So the first little choice I'll offer is you can stay right here in this just sitting kind of and knowing that you're sitting stance. Or we can look at a few options for establishing a home base. So for some, the breath is the preferred home base, and that's totally cool. I've done a lot of breath meditation. But I'll offer a few other things. So the sounds around you might be one option for a home base. So my environment might be bleeding in. You might be hearing the ceiling fan that's above me. Or maybe you've got an air conditioning vent that's blowing or a fan nearby. So a steady, persistent sound like that can be helpful. And then another option would be using the body, but something other than the breath. So maybe it's the feeling of your feet on the floor, really connecting to the feet on the floor. And even if you have shoes on, maybe connecting to the feeling of the feet, soles in the socks, or the pressure of the shoes if you're wearing footwear. So those are a few options beyond just sort of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. I'll let you explore from here and I'll check in a little bit. And so a few things, offer a few suggestions. So if you're starting to feel a little drowsy, one thing is you can open the eyes, drop your gaze down in front of you, depending on where the computer screen is, but the eyes open is one way to bring a little bit of alertness. And then another would be to just accentuate or emphasize the in-breath a bit, a couple times, and then let the breath be normal again. So those are a few ways. And another option is always to kind of go ahead and take a little bit of a nap, but might not be what you want to do. So eyes open, or emphasize that in-breath a little bit. We don't want to channel surf so much with our home base, but if you've settled in and you feel a bit of relaxation or rest spreading around, you can shift to being the focus. Sometimes we have the opportunity to use that. So we can basically use any of our body sensations or our senses. All right, I'll let you keep exploring. right, so if you feel like you're in a groove, go ahead and continue with the technique and whatever home base that you found. Keep that going. And if you want, this is our opportunity to let go of the technique and release that and switch over into do nothing. Or as Jeff says, we'll just coast for the rest of the time. And as we make this shift, maybe just check in with your posture. So have your shoulders come up a little bit. Maybe the jaws tensed a little bit, just checking on that. And then a reminder on the technique for do nothing. We're letting go of any intention to control our attention. And if we notice that we've begun sort of nudging or manipulating where the attention is, then we go ahead and drop that. And if you drop that 2 times or 3 times, then you can sort of consider that's where the attention wants to be. And so as you shift over and let go of the technique, you may find that attention goes right to your breath. Maybe that's because you've done a lot of breath meditation. So go ahead and kind of rest in that. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for spending 30 plus minutes with me. If you have like any reports, or if there was a prompt that was like off the wall and didn't make a whole lot of sense, you can put that in chat, and I can, or if you have a question, I can attempt to respond. I'll let you decide if it's an answer. But I really appreciate folks that both are showing up live, and then also those that are catching up with the recordings. A few people had mentioned that they were watching the recordings and messaged me in email. So thank you. And then this was a little mini dedication for my uncle today. Today's his birthday. So it's a little dedication to Uncle Bob. Oh, okay, so I somehow dropped. Okay, interesting. You're very welcome, Paul. Nice. I appreciate hearing that, Gabrielle, and you were very, very welcome, Fred. Thank you as always. Oh, the chime, that is this, and I managed to find this on, of all places, eBay. So that's why I jokingly call it my very special bell. But I think it was actually made in Japan, or at least that's the story that was sold to me on eBay. So I particularly like the sound of it. So, but yeah, you're very welcome, Michael. Thanks again. Appreciate the subscription, or yeah, that's what they call it, right? Rate, subscribe, all those things people always say. Oh yeah, thank you, Sybil. Yes, Colette. You're very, very welcome. Well, if I don't have any questions or such, I'm going to go ahead and close out. See folks that are regular Do Nothing Project folks, I'll see you on Sunday. If you don't know what the Do Nothing Project is, and somehow you found me through some other channel, Jeff Warren does the Do Nothing Project Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find his YouTube channel, Jeff Warren Meditation, and check that out. So yeah, we'll see everybody. Thanks again.